This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the first 3 episodes of Invincible Season 3, plus reactions to the trailers for Fantastic Four First Steps, Thunderbolts, Jurassic World Rebirth, Cobra Kai, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, February 10th, 2025.
This is Norm MacDonald, and you're listening to the, hang on, I got it here. It says, the Jock and Nerd Podcast, known for their series of gay erotica found on Amazon, No? That's not that? Oh. Well, I fucked that up, I guess.
Check. Check 1. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, what's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, he's a famous superhero on the Guardians team. It's Dupla Rugs. What number copy we got today there, Rugs?
What?
You're Dupla Rugs. You know, like duplicate.
Dupla Rugs?
Dupla Paul.
Oh.
You're made of
multi-paul.
Multi-paul, duplicate, and several rugs. What is this? Copy 69 I'm talking to? What's going on?
It's definitely copy 69. Sure.
Of course. We can't get the real rugs. We got copies on copies.
I always have a backup.
Yeah, that must be nice.
Imagine you could just does duplicate just when she multiplies herself, does she knows everything that's going on?
I don't know if the copies know what's going on. That was
they have to.
A question I had.
They just immediately start doing kung fu. So like
shared consciousness, but different copies.
That's kind of an awesome power. I wish I did have.
And
that.
It is smart to like stash a copy of yourself somewhere. I'll give her.
Remember when Michael Keaton did that in Multiplicity?
Multiplicity rugs. That was too many Michael Keatons. And they got dumber and dumber, didn't they? As he made more
they got
copies.
dumber.
Yes, you don't want to.
The more that he made, the more dumb they were.
It's like making VHS copies off of a copy of a VHS tape. You know, it just degrades. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Remember when you had to do that?
The 4 old people that listen to the podcast.
You copy a copy.
And this is why our viewership is just tanked.
VHS. What is that? Video?
Well, yeah, you got,
Yeah,
you got to get some young people on here. We all have the youngest person we have is on here is a 30-something.
Listen, you kids, exactly. With your streams and your downloads. I don't know.
We need a young kid. We need like someone.
We need a young whippersnapper.
We need a Gen Alpha.
Anthony's aged out. We've done this show long enough where now
we need a Skibbity in here.
We need someone who's
Riz.
We need someone who's got the Sigma Riz.
Yeah.
To go skibbity peps. Anyways, what are we doing? Listen.
The Sigma Riz.
Yeah, I don't know. That's very Sigma of you. No? What's the new thing? Let us know.
You talk so fast, you don't even know what you're saying.
I don't know what I'm saying. Here's what I am saying. We have a bunch of trailers to react to and some more awesome animation to review. So we're going to start.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Of course, you had the big game, the Superbowl. It's the best owl there is.
Yes.
You must honor the owls that can turn.
The Taylor Bowl.
The Taylor Bowl. The Super Bowl. And there was a bunch of trailers. But before all that, a lot of these trailers, they just, I guess studios are like, yeah, fuck the Super Bowl. We're just going to put them out online before. It doesn't really matter. And you know what? It doesn't matter. So let's start with this one. Marvel, 2 big trailers this week. Earlier in the week, released the first official teaser for the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Geek boner.
We finally get a look at Marvel's first family, at the world that they are coming from. You get a look at Galactus, a random John Malkovich, and almost all of the team's powers. Almost. Found that curious. Anthony.
That's me.
Let's start with you. This trailer racked 202 million views in the first 24 hours. Not bad. As we recall, the Superman trailer 250
202 million views
in the first 24 hours. Superman had the record with 250 million views.
Wait, where are you getting that?
And I looked up how many views the trailer had in the first 24 hours.
How is that possible, though, when the trailer you linked has 25 million views?
In the first, I don't know. It must be combined. I don't know how they make these numbers.
Did you ask AI or what?
No,
happened?
there's articles, but the Superman, the same thing. The Superman trailer numbers didn't match up, so I think they count. I don't know what they count.
Maybe they count every variation of the trailer that's out there.
Because I imagine, different people also put it out.
The TikToks,
the studios. There's TikTok version. There's Instagram. But that is a good point.
Whatever, it got a lot of views.
It got a lot. It got almost as much as Superman. So, what do we think? What do we think of this first look here?
Yeah, I saw footage at Comic-Con, but it was more like test footage.
Oh, right.
So this is the first official footage. And overall, I thought it was really good. I liked the tone. I think having it be in this retro 60s, futuristic alternate universe 60s has wiped the slate a little bit clean. While the multiverse is confusing and annoying and a lot of people don't really understand it or like it, it does provide an opportunity to do something like this where this story seems to be untethered to anything.
Yeah.
They have carte blanche to do what they want. And it looks to me like they are really going for that vibe that the Fantastic Four has, with the opening with him narrating, Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal, and the vibe with the Thing. He looks like the Thing, and
he looks great.
All this kind of stuff. I think obviously the CGI could use a little bit of work, but I think overall it looks good. The only complaint, the only thing I'd have is, and we talked about this when the casting came out, is I think they've casted a really old cast.
Yeah.
So if this is the start of a franchise, which Marvel's probably banking on, they have an older group of people in here that I don't know how they're going to age.
So
that's the only thing. Yeah. But I think overall, I thought it looked really nice. I looked very comic book accurate, very earnest. They've never been able to nail the Fantastic Four on screen.
Yeah.
So this looks like a good first step to that. And then Ruggs, they got the costumes at the end too. So, Ruggs like comic book accurate costumes. They got that going on.
Ruggs, thoughts on this? And are you concerned that they didn't really show Reed's powers? I thought that was strange.
I did notice that. I thought that was odd. No Silver Surfer to be found.
Yeah.
But they did show Galactus comic book accurate-esque head.
Yeah. It's got the helmet and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the weird giant helmet, which I like. The comic book accurate suits. The Thing looks pretty accurate, even though some of the CG is a little weird. Unfortunately, the robot is accurate.
Herbie. We got Herbie in there, and he's got little spinning tape eyes. He looks great. I want to hear him talk. Does he
sure,
talk?
It's cute.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. It's doing enough comic book accurate stuff that I'm actually pleased with what I see. But the overall feeling of the movie, I don't feel like the trailer. I don't think it really got me hooked. I just feel like, everything looks comic book accurate. That's good. They're doing it, but nothing really stuck with me that was like, oh my God, this is going to be fucking badass. I feel like the old Fantastic Four movies was about the dynamic between the characters,
the family,
the Tim Story version or whatever.
Right.
And this, it's got some of that in there, but I really don't know what this is trying to be. I don't know yet. Is it an adventure film? Is it a family dynamics film? Is it going to be funny? I don't know. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I feel like it'll have a little bit of all of that. There will be drama and stakes and comedy, and there'll be family drama. And of course, there's a big threat. I really love this aesthetic. I thought they nailed the 60s retro futuristic look. I'm wondering if this is in this universe, if it is the 60s or if it's the present and the 60s aesthetic is just what's stuck around through the present, because they have kind of modern tech and the buildings look kind of modern. They look sleek. The Thing looks fantastic. This is easily the best looking Thing we've got live action. He looks just like Jack Kirby's drawings from the comics. I mean, I know Jack Kirby kind of modeled the Thing after himself, a big kind of burly dude. That's fantastic. The whole thing with the cooking, because it's Eben Moss-Bacharach who's in The Bear. I don't know if that's a cute little Easter egg, because he's a chef in The Bear and he's cooking with Herbie. The suits look great. That shot where they're on the stage with the arrows is pretty cool, because if you look up a shot of the Beatles during the Ed Sullivan Show, they performed on a similar stage with arrows, just like that. So I don't know if this is them coming out on the Ed Sullivan Show or on live TV. You do see Vanessa Kirby kind of disappear. She looks good. The flame on Johnny looks pretty good. They don't show Reed. Galactic. What did you guys think about Ben Grimm's voice? A lot of people were like, the voice isn't gruff enough. It's not right. I thought it's fine.
It did catch me off guard a little bit.
He's not doing like a grovelly
but
voice.
you know, it might be fine after you let it sink in for a while, you know.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a Ben Grimm that wasn't doing a really deep, gravelly voice,
Bronx or Queens accent or wherever he's from.
So I think it also, I didn't really notice it, but then when I first played it as well, and now that you're bringing it up, it does sound different. I agree with Ruggs. One thing I want to mention too, at least from my view, is I thought the aesthetic looked completely different than what Marvel's normally put out in their movies.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't look like the generic Marvel wash is on it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's taking on that 60s kitschy kind of tone. So I do like that too. I think that aesthetic makes the movie feel like it's something different from what we've seen before. So I give them credit for that too. I think obviously it's only a minute 30. It's not meant to give you any sort of story. You're obviously not seeing Reed, Stretchy. All that stuff will probably come later. So overall, I liked it. And yeah, the Galactus, we people have been clamoring for a comic book accurate
Not a cloud.
Galactus. Yeah.
And
I think they did a good job with that.
And at first, no, I'll agree, Anthony. It's so different and fresh for a Marvel movie. I love the blue and white palette they keep introducing and all the architecture and the set. Like, I love this. It's so great. It's so different.
I forgot to mention, it kind of reminded me, not the same exactly, because no one does it exactly like him, but the feel I was getting was almost Sam Raimi Spider-Man, where it's just
interesting.
It's so leaned into the comics.
Yeah.
And so leaned into that universe where it's like, we don't really care about making it like integrate with the real world. Whereas when Marvel first started out, they did their damnedest to make sure Iron Man, Thor, like it was all kind of plausible.
Right.
Where this is going, we don't care. This is the world we have.
Well, because this is going to be an alternate reality, and perhaps by the end of the movie, they find themselves in the MCU 616. If you pause the scene where he's writing on the chalkboard, you notice behind him there's a little drawing of like a portal, a wormhole. It says enter, exit. It says parallel, alternate dimension. So Reed is clearly figuring out how to move between parallel worlds or realities. He's on. So that's probably, and it seems like I like how they're already celebrities in this world, and they have fans and people are wearing costumes. And then perhaps in flashbacks, we will see what actually happens to them.
You got to nail the family dynamic.
Yes.
You've never really nailed that. You got to nail the fact that Johnny and Ben don't get along, and I think they will. They didn't tease that, but I think they'll get that. The thing I also thought they nailed right in just a 2-second clip was just the overwhelming sadness Ben walks around with. He sees the clip on the TV of himself as a human, and just you could tell right away when they cut to him how sad he is that he's in this.
That's a great shot where you see Eben Moss-Bacharach. He's like best looking one, and it goes black, and you see his reflection, and his top hat and his trench coat looks so great. And even in that one, the Thing looks great. I love what they did with the Thing here. And Pedro, I think he's going to nail this. Like, everyone was like, oh, is he going to be a good Reed Richards? He's so good. Like, I buy him already as the Reed Richards. Like, I think.
I do have concerns, but, mainly Silver Surfer.
Yeah, Julia Gardner, female.
And the fact that Doom is going to be Robert Downey Jr.
I don't think we're going to see any Doom in this. Maybe in a post-credit scene.
Right. But so I'm hopefully they prove me wrong. But the future of Fantastic Four hangs on that.
Well, I don't think if we're going on concerns, what I would say is I don't have any doubts that Reed, played by Pedro, and what's her name?
Vanessa Kirby.
Sue. Yeah, playing by Vanessa
Yeah.
Kirby. I don't have any doubts that they're going to do well.
Yeah.
Like they're both really good actors. My only doubts with them two, more so Pedro, is he actually Reed? Like, is he going to feel like Reed,
Mhm.
or is it just Pedro in another role, and he's Pedro doing everything? And similarly, Vanessa, not as much, but Vanessa Kirby's older. I mean, she's like 38
She's
years old.
36, I think. Yeah.
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 So that's a little strange too, especially when Johnny's at least my version of Johnny's a young guy.
He
and he's
seems
supposed to be brother and
Joe
sister.
Quinn seems young in this.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Those are the only concerns.
Yeah.
I think they'll do fine in the role. I think if anything, they have some high upside. Is just some concerns that they're not, more so Pedro, are not perfectly cast for like this role.
It depends what they've written for them, right? Do they have
Well, it's just like Pedro's Pedro. Like
Yeah.
at some point, you become bigger than your face becomes not that role. Like he's Pedro Pascal,
Right. And will we just see that?
He's in everything that is popular right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he's been in everything pretty much.
His face has been overexposed, perhaps. And
He's got like two different guys that he plays.
Yeah. No, I mean,
It's like the brooding guy,
Yeah.
and then like the weird, like happy-go-lucky guy.
Well, even his face is very like oval, but like horizontally oval.
Right.
And I always think of Reed as this like
square,
like
rectangle.
not even square, but like long face.
Yeah, it's a tall
he's
rectangle.
lanky, tall face,
yeah.
long face, and Pedro's got this like wide face, and he's not lanky like Reed is, so it's just different.
I mean, Hugh Jackman wasn't short and squat, but that worked out too.
Yeah, I
you
mean
know.
that's possible. Although Hugh Jackman was cast, when was he, like in his late 20s?
Yes, he was like early 30s. So yeah, this is
he
older,
could play that role
yeah.
for 30 years.
I like Pedro in that unbearable weight of being whatever with Nick Cage. Like that's like quirky Pedro, right? He could do that, but then he could do The Last of Us, serious. I think he'll be good in this. And I thought the story was supposed to revolve around Sue Storm, anyways. Like she was going to be the center. As far as the size of Galactus, at first I was like, bro, he's supposed to be able to eat planets. He seems tiny. But then I was like, he could just change size. He's Galactus. So he just shrunk.
Well, yeah, in the comics, he changes size based on whoever's drawing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got him. Sometimes he's bigger than the planet.
Right.
Sometimes he's just as tall as buildings.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's big enough that Thanos can punch him in the face.
Sometimes
Like,
he's eating universes and he's fucking celestial size. So that's fine. I think that's exciting. Who do we think, John?
bring back the Cloud.
Don't bring back the Cloud. Fucking take your Parallax and Galactus Cloud and get the fuck out of here. Make it something. Who do we think John Malkovich is playing? Because it's kind of a
Didn't we know that?
great. I don't think anybody knows. There's a speculation. It's so
Wait,
weird.
isn't he Mole Man?
No, I don't think so. Let's see. I don't think it says in the IMDb, but it is just a weird shot to throw in here. Other guesses were this character, the Red Ghost, who also he talks to like apes and recreates the Fantastic Four's powers. The other guess was Reed Richards' father, Nathaniel
Mole Man.
Richards. What'd you say, Anthony?
I'm going Mole Man. He's supposed to be in the movie.
No, but they also have Paul Walter Hauser in the cast. That's definitely Mole Man. Paul Walter Hauser is fucking Mole Man. Or he's the voice of Herbie. Or Natasha Lyonne is the voice of Herbie. She's also listed in this. I don't know. I think Malkovich, or maybe he's just playing John Malkovich with long hair. And he's like, I'm John Malkovich. It's completely possible with his career. But this gave me geek boner. I'll say I'm excited. It looks fresh. It looks different. Show me this world and what
Does
happens.
this trailer? Let's just do it quick because they're going to compete with each other.
Yeah.
Does this trailer? You have to make a pick. No, both of you two, because sometimes both of you go give an answer where you don't make a pick and you just say words. You got to make a pick. What looks better, Superman trailer or Fantastic Four?
Oh,
trailer?
you son of a bitch! What looks better?
Which one made your penis go up?
Blink. All right. I'm going to be completely honest. Fantastic Four, I think, edged it out a little bit.
Geek boner.
Just a little bit.
Ruggs, what about you?
I don't know. They're both kind of tied for me, but like, I guess if I have to give one the more excitement, I'm going to say Superman.
Yeah, I would. I think the Fantastic Four trailer is a better trailer, but There's something about if they hit Superman that's makes me excited, so I would go Superman.
Yeah.
But they're both good.
They're both good. Every 10 years since 2005, we've had a Fantastic Four.
See,
attempt.
like I would say they're both meh, and then like, but one is because it's Superman. I'm more into it, so yeah.
Well, that's a typical Rogue Boy answer. They're both
Yeah.
meh. Well, I would say both. I liked both. I think both are well cut. I think both are intentionally cut in a way to make you feel right. The Superman obviously uses the old music and all that kind of stuff, and then this one has the narration in the beginning and all the stuff. So
they're both very equal, I think. It's hard. I'm with Ruggs, but like just because of recent.
Yeah, but you're not with Ruggs. Ruggs is meh on both. You are thumbs up on both.
I mean,
he's got boners.
They're both good. They're good. Okay to good equally. But since this one is, I don't know. We've seen Superman. This one is them trying this team that's for the fourth time.
I can never follow your logic. You just went with you agree with Ruggs.
I don't know.
You just say they're okay to good, but then 2 minutes earlier you said you had a big boner for
July
this trailer.
movies. I'm excited.
Do you get
for
a big
both of
boner
them.
for just okay stuff, or what's the deal here?
I'm gonna say I'm not sure anymore.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Fantastic Four was fun. Moving on. Listener, let us know which one you think is better. I think that's a fantastic question. Fantastic Four, Superman. Which one gave you the bigger geek boner?
Geek boner.
You can leave us a comment on X. You can follow us there or on Instagram or on our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation.
Jock and Nerd.
It is a closed, exclusive group just for you, listener. I'll have all those links in the episode description. Join it today. Join the conversation. Okay, moving on. Here's a big game trailer. Another one from Marvel. Our second trailer for Thunderbolts Asterisk. This one gives us a little bit more story. Big title card, so everybody knows who's in this fucking movie. And a tease. Another tease of Sentry. Ruggs, let's start with you this time. How did this trailer grab you? What'd you like? What did you learn?
There was a song in this trailer.
Yes. 80s song.
Yes.
Nothing's going to stop us now.
That's right. From
Nothing's
Jefferson
gonna stop
Starship.
us. And yeah, I like it. I like the music they've been using for the Thunderbolts trailers.
So they're really using the music cues here in this trailer.
They had the Pixies, Where's My Mind, right? In the previous one.
Yeah, they've been using a lot of music. I like the premise that they're all like low grade, basically augmented humans versus Superman.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a good underdog story right there. So it gives me something to hook onto. I can't say that there's a lot of cool shit going on, but I am enthused about the premise. I like the premise that they're all have to take down the Void. And you could see the Void. They teased the Void a little bit in there where he's making people turn into like shadows.
That's crazy. That was some terrifying shit.
And if he can do that, what chance do they have against him?
It's
Who
like
knows?
the Nothing from Neverending Story.
Yeah, it's the Nothing.
It's the Nothing. Where's Atreyu and Falcor?
You want to know how you beat the Nothing?
You got to believe. Say
you
his
gotta have a-
name.
You just need a little boy to believe.
Say her name, Sebastian.
Moonchild.
That wasn't
Okay.
is that the name?
Yeah, that was the name that he gave her. Yeah. They're going to make it another never-ending story. Anyway, let's get back to the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. What else?
I think it's cool. I mean, I think they got something going on. I don't know how great it's going to be. It feels like a little bit of like a James Gunn light type situation.
Sure.
And, the roster is pretty filled with similar powered people. There's not a lot of diversity of powers here we're talking about, right? So,
Well, she even calls it out. She's like, "Oh, nobody can
yes,
fly."
but they know this going in. Maybe that's the concept.
Yeah.
And that could be cool if they play it right. So right now, they got a couple of things that might work out. I see some of this stuff that might work out. I'm being cautiously optimistic.
Wow.
Okay, that's all we can hope for from Ruggs. That's
For me, that's all you're gonna get.
That's as good as it's
that's
gonna
a
get.
positive.
That's as good as it'll ever get for Ruggs on a trailer with a superhero movie in this time of year.
Done by Marvel, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's CA. Anthony, what about you?
Ruggs said it the way I would say it, with maybe a little more enthusiasm. I actually completely agree with Ruggs. One of the criticisms I had when they first announced the team was that these were all samey type of people.
Yeah.
And they address that in this trailer and go, that's the point.
Yeah.
And I agree with Ruggs. I like the premise of these guys on paper have no chance against the Sentry. For those that don't know who the Sentry is, just look him up. I think the Sentry is a really intriguing character in Marvel Comics. A lot of mental issues. Basically like somewhat Superman level powers, but crazy. And then has a dark side to him called the Void. So yeah, I think all that, it looks good. I did laugh at some of the jokes. It does feel, similar to Ruggs said, it feels James Gunny, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Although James Gunn is not doing this, so that's kind of a bad thing. The only criticism I have is, unlike Fantastic Four, I think this film looks really ugly.
Why is it so dark?
It's so dark, and everyone is so grayed out, and even Red Guardian's red suit looks somewhat black. Like, it's just a very ugly very visually ugly, and Marvel tends to do that a lot with a lot of their movies.
I thought it was the brightness on my screen, but that shot where she's shooting at Agent Walker and he's like, "It's me. What are you doing?" You can barely see any of that. It's dark as shit.
It's very ugly. It's not at all comic booky in that sense.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that's strange. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if this movie will do well. With the way Marvel and the way the state of superheroes now, like Marvel can't just release random things and it be guaranteed to hit. So,
like, who's the biggest star in this movie?
Well, they're pushing
Florence Pugh or Sebastian Stan.
But Sebastian Stan would be the biggest Marvel type star.
David Harbour, though, is he's everywhere. So I don't know if he's going to steal.
I feel like
this.
you still got all like B level. I think they're all like, they're not like super, even though they are A list. I don't think they're in asses in the seats type of A list.
Yeah,
like when you had Black Widow, you had Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
so she was carrying that film, right? So she was the one drawing people in.
Trying to make Florence Pugh a thing, I guess.
They are. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like it. I think it looks good, and I'll definitely watch. I'm just curious what the response will be to something like this.
I like getting a little bit more of the story. I still think the chemistry is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It still gives me the fun vibe. Like, this could be a fun action adventure with some stakes. Now, I like that they teased the Sentry and just showed you him in shadow or his hand, because that whole people becoming shadows, like it was a nuclear bomb went off, like in Nagasaki, that left the shadow on the wall. Like, that's fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And then the void effect is really strange. It almost looks like they're hiding something else under there that's supposed to be under there, because it's just like a black gradient, which is just like a lazy thing. But I was like, why is this movie so fucking dark? Where's the light? You couldn't see some of this shit. And who do we think dies first? I don't think Taskmaster is going to be around.
Yeah,
long.
that's the obvious one, right? She's barely in the trailers.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. But it's like Suicide Squad light, and in those movies, somebody always dies first. And
I'd love to also understand. I mean, they probably don't need to reveal this in the trailer, but one of the comments that I saw, or one of the clips, were the Avengers aren't here; they're not coming.
It starts with her going, "There are no Avengers. Where are they?
So,
what happened?
What happened in Captain America that leads us to believe there's no Avengers?"
You see the Avengers Tower, and she now owns it and runs it, clearly, Valentina. But there are no Avengers is a big line, especially after the movie we're getting before is President Harrison Ford going, "I want you to get the Avengers back together," to Sam Wilson. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But May 2nd, fun time. I like the trailer. Showed us what I wanted to see. Let's move on to another franchise that will not die, and that is the Jurassic franchise. We got our first trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. This one also coming out in July. Same month as Fantastic Four and Superman. This one starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, who is never going to be Blade. Anthony.
Yes.
What do you think? We got dinosaurs. We got Black Widow. I don't know. What you got?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay, here.
I don't really have much for this trailer.
Okay.
Like it looks fine. It's another excuse. They need to go to these rare dinosaurs that are dangerous and get their blood to cure something.
Oh my God! This time they got to get DNA from dinosaurs that were too dangerous for the original park. Are they going back to the original island? Where the fuck?
I think they're going to these. It seems like they're going to some other secret island that no one goes to that houses a lot of these dinosaurs. I mean, this franchise. I don't know. It's there doesn't seem to be a lot of life in this.
No, it's so look outside. There's a fucking kid in it. Of course, you got to put a kid in there. Outside of that weird fucking one thing that looks like the Rancor from Return of the Jedi crossed with a xenomorph from Aliens, I was like, what the fuck is that? Outside of that, it's very generic and just the wonder and the magic is kind of gone. I'm still gonna go see it because it's dinosaurs and it looks like they're gonna eat people. And then there's the water mosasaur thing. Rugs, what do you think? Is there anything here?
I just watched the other Jurassic World.
The last one or the one 2 ago?
The first one. The first one where they introduced Colin Trevorrow. And actually, even though that movie was bad in a lot of ways, like just concept and story wise, it still was entertaining. Still had like some good chops when it came to like the set pieces and whatnot.
Listen, I will even give the second one, J.A. Bayona, the shots of the brontosaurus on the island with the like it was beautiful. The shots. I'm not gonna talk about the story. What happens with the fucking dino auction on the runway under the mansion?
Yeah, they just seem to lose the plot.
And then the third one is about fucking grasshoppers. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was unforgivable. But the franchise is tired. They've had way too many movies. They've had like 6 movies now, and a TV show and cartoon and blah blah blah. And they're trying to go in a different direction now. They're trying to go mutants.
So do we think we're getting a hybrid dino?
They're mutants.
They're
They're mutants. These are the dinosaurs. They tried to make that. So if you don't remember the way that they made the dinosaurs is that they fused them with frog DNA.
Right.
That seemed to do the trick.
Right.
But the dinosaurs were never accurate.
Right.
Like they were never 100% dinosaur. They were always mixed with something to kind of get them to exist.
Right.
So they're all mutants when you put it, but some mutants were worse than others. Some of them, the Rancor monster looks like the Rancor monster meets Cloverfield because they're doing all the mutos from Godzilla.
It's got arms,
it's the same,
right?
It's the same build. It's like the same giant arms.
It looks like
and
it
then
has
the smaller
arms.
little arms.
Yeah.
Just smaller arms in the middle. Like they've done that to death. Like that design is so tired now. Like literally every Pacific Rim kaiju has that build too. So like they're not even innovating. Like now you got a chance. All right, you're gonna make dinosaur mutants. At least do something that's different. Like now you're going to like back to the well that like 4 other movies have called this monster forth that has the same. Unless it's like they reveal something in that's even cooler than that. They're not. If they're gonna go in this direction, let's go. Like let's make some cool shit. Create a whole other fucking thing because they did like Indominus Rex and that was kind of all right. It had an underbite and long arms, but nothing really that inspired. It could camouflage, but which is cool. But everything seems very uninspired. That's all I'll say.
Raptors are back.
Yeah, the raptors that are wrong are back. Raptors are actually the size of dogs.
And it says in the trailer, it goes, a new era is born. And I'm like,
doesn't seem all that
new there. I don't know about that.
But hey, I think it's fun to go see dinosaurs in the theater.
It will always be fun to go see dinosaurs. I agree. It'll always be fun to see monsters.
Yeah.
The thing with these movies, especially, is the plots are just so bad at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, all the Godzilla movies, all these.
It's like, how
movies
many
seem to be-
reasons can you come up with? But I thought, what
They're
happened?
all terrible. They're all B movies that they make with A movie money.
Right.
Does that, Anthony, did that weird monster do anything for you? Pique your interest at all? What
This
the hell?
one in the red.
Yeah, what the hell is
room.
that? What is that?
Yeah, I
thing?
just paused on it now. I mean,
Fuck
it looks
is that
like a weird. Yeah, it looks like what Ruggs described. I mean, it does look strange. I probably will go see this movie, but to classify it as a new era. When
This is not a new
the
era.
last movie came out, what, 2-3 years
Yeah.
ago? I mean, it
Does
doesn't
that look
even-
like it's got human DNA in it?
It looks a little bit.
Possibly.
I have it paused right now. It does look like it has a human skull.
That might be what is happening. It's human hybrid, but the T-Rex.
They're going to go to the island and realize people wouldn't fucking around and weird shit's been happening, and they're in for more than they expected. I mean, it can be a simple story and it can work.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if I was entertained by this, but I mean, I'm also like, well, why are we doing these?
I don't know. I think they're going to lean into the horror. The jump scare is great, but we'll see. Just do
Godzilla.
another one.
I'm guaranteed a monster fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm guaranteed to root for someone. Where these movies, they try to make it about the plot about these people trying to do things, and it's just like,
No.
well, if you're gonna do the Godzilla thing, just make me root for T-Rex. Everybody,
Yeah, just have them eat people and make me root for the T-Rex. That's all. I
Well,
wanna
the
see.
last one that they did with the locusts or whatever, they introduced the other like T-Rex, whatever
Yeah.
that fucking thing is.
Giganotosaurus.
Were all the dinosaurs free still at the end of that last one, or did they I forgot what happened. Did they get them? Because I thought they just were all over the planet.
I think they got
They
them.
got
again.
them, right?
I don't know.
Who cares?
They rounded them up again.
It doesn't
I guess.
matter. We're going to get the same movie over and over again. It's going to make $1 billion. You watch. Let's move on to another short clip that was put out during the big game for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. This one, just a 30-second spot. That's your $8 million right there. Just a lot of action and running. Kind of underwhelming, disappointing. Nothing new.
Some clips from the old movies.
Oh, yeah. They kind of get you ready for, will this be the last? I don't know. Any comment on this? I'm looking forward to this. Like the stunts underwater on the plane looks good.
They already have my money.
Yeah, they show you the first movie stunts.
I'm going. I don't need to even see an ad for it. I'm going. I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. I mean, Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise is about as take it to the bank in terms of entertainment that you know you're going to get good shit. The trailer
It may not be the best that you've ever seen, but it's definitely going to be worth going to the theater.
yeah.
to see
yeah.
it.
It's going to be a
it's
spectacle.
always going to be a spectacle.
Yeah.
The trailer itself, this 30 second doesn't do anything
No.
for me, and they are playing it up like this might be the last adventure.
Yes.
They're really playing that up, and I don't believe that to be the case. So yeah, it's just going to be another fun. We'll review it. We'll all probably like it.
Yeah.
It might even be one of the best action movies of the year.
Tom Cruise running. What more do you need? Give me that for 20 minutes, and you get an Oscar.
20 minutes of running.
Okay, last trailer here. This was not a big game spot. Also came out before. We talked about it a little bit last week. Cobra Kai season 6, part 3, coming out this week, February 13th.
They dropped two things.
They dropped a final trailer,
yeah.
which is like 2.5 minutes long.
Yep.
That's the one we're going to talk about.
That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
What's the other thing? There was probably another.
There was a sneak peek.
Oh, there was a sneak peek. I didn't
watch that.
I did.
I didn't watch that. Ruggs, let's start with you on this longer trailer that takes you through the journey, the movies, the events that happen in Cobra Kai, leading us up to all of it's got to come back to the All Valley Sports Arena to finish the Sakai Takai. What'd you think of this? I'm fucking in. I'll tell you what I thought of this.
Well, I did like that. It gave us like a blast from the past. You see like Miguel getting his back broken.
You see Tori
And,
getting cut by, or
yeah,
Sam
you get
getting
the-
cut by Tori.
Yeah. And you remember how good those moments were.
yeah.
So that you're like, oh, I remember that shit.
Remember when Hawk broke that dude's arm? That was awesome.
Yeah, like you forget about a lot
Yeah.
of this stuff. So it's going to be reminded. And you hope that this is going to be as good as those moments or better, and that there's some surprises left, because you've seen everything pretty much except for maybe Hilary Swank, and who else are we
That's
missing?
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith wearing a black cardboard house on his head. Maybe put that in. Just get him right off the Grammys, red carpet. You see that shit? Jaden Smith is weird, bro. He wears some weird shit.
Oh my God. What are the chances that there's two guys that teach martial arts that teach you by doing chores repeatedly?
They all know each other. I mean, I love how they show Chosen and Mike Barnes and Terry and Kreese, and then it's time for the tournament. Anthony, how you hyped for this?
Geek boner.
Does this trailer help?
So when I watched this trailer, it reminded me of Avengers Endgame
Oh,
trailers.
shit.
Where the Endgame trailers,
shit.
go look back at the Endgame trailers and the way they recap the old movies and all that
Yep.
stuff. This was that kind of level
Fuck
for me.
yeah.
I'm so fucking hard right now. I'm rock hard right now just watching
Oh, my
this.
God.
It is, I'm so in. They recap the old movies.
Yeah.
They do the recap of all the current stuff.
Great.
I mean, they're just building up to this final battle. That it's this is you got the music at the end, the
Yep.
best around.
You're the best.
Then you cut to them training together and the voiceovers, and you cut to them. You cut to Johnny and what's his face, Johnny
Robbie.
and Johnny. No, not Johnny and Robbie. You fuck Johnny
Daniel?
and the Daniel LaRusso
Mhm.
running the streets
Oh, yeah.
with the kids behind him,
Yeah.
Rocky,
Like Rocky.
2 style.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. You could play ring toss on my penis right now. It's so hard.
Dude, there's a shot where they're both doing the crane pose on top
Oh
of
my God, yeah.
posts
I mean, that's so great.
at the beach.
When you're playing that, you
It's so
like
good.
slow down. You're the best around,
Yeah.
and the title cards is the greatest saga. And, I mean, this is amazing.
What about Danny's wife finally cheering?
Oh, she's into it. She got face paint on. She's like, kick him ass, Robbie.
You got all the old girls and the way they cut with his girlfriend from the first.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is what you call, and I'm putting up my hands like I'm an Italian right now. Cinema.
This is where, like, the Jurassic World Rebirth title cards, a new era has begun. Bullshit. These title cards, the greatest karate saga is coming to end. 100% true.
Oh shit.
This is the greatest
Oh, oh.
karate saga ever.
Although very false advertising because we just saw a trailer for another Karate Kid movie.
It's not coming to an end.
It's not ending at all.
This is ending, but Daniel will clearly be going on. I mean, they killed a dude in the last. They never killed a dude in any of these movies, so I'm expecting some epic shit.
I have a side thing. I remember in college, hearing about they would haze the kids in the frats.
Yeah.
And one of the ways they haze the kids, the rushies or whatever you call them, is they locked them in a room overnight and just blasted "You're the Best Around"
Over and over again.
over and over again.
That's
in the
barely
dark.
a punishment or torture.
And I think that song is fantastic.
I've been doing
so.
karate the whole time in that room with the blindfold on. You're the best. I can listen to that. That's fine. Yeah, epic. I'm gonna be sad when it ends, but it's gonna be a good time.
I guess the only criticism I have is like the team they're fighting it's a Kreese/Silver team.
yeah.
Well, it's more Silver.
Yeah,
But I don't actually hate any of those guys on that team.
yeah,
It's not like this. It's like been building up. Whereas
right.
if we're going to make the Avengers comparison, Thanos was teased
Sure.
at the first Avengers.
Sure.
So that was a long time coming.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to see the tall
Axel
go
and
They
then
killed off the asshole. The
Yeah, I don't
asshole's
want to see
dead.
the tall Scandinavian
Yeah.
get his ass kicked
Axel
for
and
whatever
then
reason.
that Linda Willingham girl from Instagram is the other bad girl. We just met them.
She's a bad girl, all right.
Yeah, she's a bad girl. But you're right. We just met them in the last 5 episodes. They did an all right job making them the villains, whatever. I think Louis Tan's character is pretty intimidating as the sensei of that group. But yeah, Silver's there. Oh, greatest karate saga. Absolutely. All right. Well, any other commercials? Let's talk about the whole broadcast in the game real quick. Ratings. What thoughts, Anthony, on the game and any of the other commercials?
You got numbers?
Wait. What are you asking me again? Say that.
Just the other commercials and the game itself and the halftime show.
So I will be very, very honest. I'm always honest. You can call me Honest Anthony.
Yeah. Oh, Honest Abe. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's
Anthony,
that
sorry.
he stole that from me. That I was so not into this game.
Yeah.
That when I realized it was a blowout or it was becoming a blowout, I needed to finish Invincible episodes and I threw those on. So I wasn't that engaged at all. I can't give you any commercials that I watched. Nothing.
Okay.
I got no feedback for you because I watched Invincible to prep for the show.
The game was kind of boring. One-sided, yeah. And they kind of quit playing like 2.5 minutes in. They were just like, we're going to start celebrating. I was like, all right, whatever. Did you catch Kendrick Lamar and any of this?
No,
Oh, you
I
did.
did.
Oh.
I did.
not.
Ruggs, what'd you think?
Well, I think he did a good job, I guess. I'm gonna say this, and I know you're gonna fucking be pissed, but I don't like Kendrick Lamar's music at all.
Yeah, it's fine.
He reminds
Yeah,
me.
but shouldn't you be happy that he cooked Drake live on
Oh
TV?
my God.
I hate Drake too.
Bro.
So yeah, good on him for doing that. But like, he just reminds you of Lil Wayne for some reason.
Yeah, he's got
Really?
And
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, he just has a similar voice.
Okay.
Kendrick can actually rap. So, but Lil Wayne's music is more memorable for some reason. I don't know why.
I thought the halftime show was all right. I know he did a bunch of songs. I'm not really that much into his music, but from what I read, reactions, like he changed a couple of things. But he got to call Drake essentially a pedophile on national television and had the
But I didn't even catch
he had
that.
the whole audience singing A minor. Now, if you know that song, not like us, and clearly people in the audience did, they went crazy when that song started.
He also had Serena Williams doing the Crip Walk.
Yes, and that was his ex. So he brings his ex-girlfriend, and I think Kendrick won. The beef's over. Drake's been cooked.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, well, the fact that A minor was, I think, nominated for Grammys.
Yeah.
and
Oh, it
stuff.
won record and album of the year. That
Right.
song.
But if you had to listen to music, would you listen to Kendrick or Drake?
Me personally,
Yeah,
I don't like Drake. I would listen.
I'm
to
throwing some Drake on.
I don't like Drake. I will put Kendrick.
I
like both.
I would say I know more of Drake's songs. I remember because Kendrick Lamar has been playing on my Spotify for about, I would say, a decade,
Yeah.
and I know maybe 3 songs off the top of my head that I know how they go.
Yeah.
Drake songs, I know lyrics, I remember the hooks, I remember everything, and I relate to them a little
He's
bit
got
more.
better
I guess.
hooks, I guess, but Kendrick's a little smarter in the writing.
Oh yeah, I think the lyrics are better, but they come at you so fast and furious, so
Yeah.
it's hard to like make some of them out, especially the tone of his voice.
It was hard to understand some of it, especially in that setting. I thought it was all right. I thought something else. There was going to be like a surprise guest or something, and there kind of was, but it was all for Drake. And as far as the commercials, I'm with you, Anthony. I was kind of barely paying attention.
I got one commercial.
I know which one. Which one?
It's the fucking Seal.
Oh my
one.
God, that one for Mountain Dew.
I felt bad for Seal.
They made Seal, an actual seal, singing a version of "Kiss by a Rose" about Mountain Dew, and it's the
I felt
creepiest
that was-
looking thing ever.
I felt that was like so
Oh
dehumanizing.
my God, it looks so bizarre.
And desealinizing.
Yeah, they put his head on a CG seal, and it was just very creepy.
Well, I mean, it's not like Seal had the most pleasant looking face
No, he's got-
to begin with.
He's
before.
got characteristic scars.
Hey man, you got Heidi Klum. That's all I
Yeah,
have to
it,
say.
doesn't, it don't matter.
I mean, it's not a huge dick.
And I mean, the other
Definitely.
His dick is the size of a seal.
I think that's a good place to take a break. We're talking about Seal's dick. Seal dick. Seal dick is inverted. We're gonna take a break, play some promos here, people. We'll come back, talk about Invincible Season 3 right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcast now. You will literally love it.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted. And this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this show, this is a great time to support, give back, join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. There is a link in the episode description, and you can give back on a monthly or annual basis and be part of our awesome Patreon community where you get stuff, you get access to a exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early, and there's bonus content like movie reviews. And in fact, Ruggs put up a couple of things this week. We'll talk about it later, but you had 2 movie reviews. And yes, listener, Ruggs is hate watching your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, shit.
Lame.
That is definitely something you want to pay to hear. It's
10 minutes long, people.
It's fantastic. I can't wait to hear the next rant. And we will get into that and what are we watching. You can also join us on our monthly Discord hangouts. The next one, February 20th. And you can pick any movie you want for us to watch and review. You can get a t-shirt, lots of fun stuff over on our Patreon, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Visit it, join today. All right, let's get to this week's review. We have another animated television show, something quite different than Spider-Man. It's Invincible. Season 3 has premiered. We will be reviewing the first 3 episodes. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
We didn't have to wait 4 years like we did between the first and second season. I don't know. I feel like this came out at a pretty good time. Anthony,
yes,
give us a little synopsis on where we left off and where these first 3 episodes pick up and what happens.
Oh man, a little synopsis for a whole season plus 3 episodes of season 3. Okay. Season 3, season 2 ends with Invincible killing someone for the first time, Angstrom
Levy,
who had tortured his family, and he's regretting that. He's also in a place where he has a little baby brother from Omni-Man that is half purple and is a baby and is growing really quickly. He's also left with dealing with the Guardians and one of them, or not the Guardians, excuse me, Adam Eve from the future tells him that she has a crush on him and he needs to confess. So he's dealing with all that and wanting to become a stronger superhero for the world, for the eventual fate that is coming to him, which is the Viltrumites want him to basically take Omni-Man's spot, take over Earth, or they will kill him and kill everyone. And then all the way on the other side of the galaxy, Omni-Man is in jail with a Viltrumite prison. And the guy with the one eye, I forget his name.
Alan
is looking to recruit him to take down the Viltrumite Empire from the inside. And there's about 55 other million plots that are going on in this show.
Alan was kind of ripped apart and then put back together last season. And the guy who was the head of that place turns off the life support so that he would get stronger. Turns out he's
that was Optimus Prime.
Was it Optimus Prime?
Well, that was the guy that voiced the
voice of Optimus Prime. Autobots, roll out. But it turns out he is a rogue rebel Viltrumite, and he's trying to get a team for him to take down the Viltrumites, which is why they need Nolan. All right, yes. Now, what happens in these first 3 episodes? What are we dealing with?
These first 3? Man,
or do you want to just go like?
Well, he kind of got into some of this stuff.
Yeah, let's just go. But do you want to go episode by episode, or do you want to give overall thoughts? I don't know if I can recap all 3 without just spoiling everything.
Let's just do overall thoughts on the start of season 3.
Okay,
Anthony.
Me?
Yeah.
You want to start with me? I watched season 3 the other day. I've enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Invincible, and I'm really digging season 3. I think there's a lot going on. It is moving fairly quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Which can be a good or a bad thing. Like, for example, the Oliver stuff, I feel, is moving very quickly. And they could pause and take their time with that, but they're not. But I think this show is a very well written show. It's based off apparently some very well written comics. The episodes really do a good job, I think, of living in the gray. So they're tackling these very, typical hero type issues. With one of the bigger things is one of the threads throughout is Invincible is regretful about killing Angstrom Lee, even Levy, even though was a bad guy and was threatening his family.
Yeah.
But he has a very hard line stance on that. Like, his morals are right.
No killing.
Not only no killing, but the what's the guy's name? The old guy that with the fucked up face.
Oh, Cecil.
Cecil has this stance of rehabilitating people because it's for the better good, whereas Invincible is a little more moralistic, or idealistic, like Captain America, where he's like, wait a minute, I can't work with criminals.
Yeah.
So you have this kind of hardline stance there, where the more that Invincible tries to stick up, display his own morals and use those as the measuring stick, the more he's becoming somewhat of a fascist and someone like his dad, and he's not realizing it. But then he's also got his brother that he's trying to teach and train, and the brother is a little bit more willing to kill. So you have those threads, and
great.
They're Cecil and Invincible's feud breaking up the Guardians. So all that to say is I think this show does a really good job of presenting both sides of the argument.
Absolutely.
And not giving you, they're not like leaning one way or the other. They're just kind of like, we're living in this gray area.
Yeah.
And it's for you to decide like who you feel is right.
That's what some of the shit I love about this show is you can understand both Mark and Cecil's point of view.
And those real quick, and then I'll let you guys jump in. Those kinds of arguments and dilemmas are like, for me, the crux of what makes comic books awesome or superheroes awesome is there is no right answer, right? It's like when you're responsible for the fate of the world, is there a wrong way to go about that kind of shit?
Right.
And everyone's hands get dirty, and I just love that kind of stuff. So go ahead, guys.
Yeah. So the beauty of comic books, and even more so independent comic books that are not kind of beholden to this kind of cycle that they kind of do with regular comics, where they kind of have a bunch of writers and they all want to take it in a different direction each time, and they reset shit all the time. But you have this story that's written by one person, and it goes in time, in sequence. It goes, all right, every month he's writing the next installment of this guy's story, and you go on this journey, and you develop, the character develops, and all these things unfold, and these end games and things kind of come together. So it's a very satisfying saga that we're kind of, and it's not like all action. It's not all like a 3-part thing. It's all like just things developing, and eventually those things will play out in certain ways. And it reminds me a lot of reading good comic books back in the day.
Everything builds on everything else.
Sure. Like, look at the character of Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he starts out as this kid who just gets his powers. He finds out shit about his dad. Him and his dad fucking beat the shit out of each other. Then he's got to forgive his dad. Yeah. Now he's got this fucking bastard child that he has.
And the dad's like, oh, by the way, I had banged this insect lady, and here's your brother.
Yeah, his dad's fucking insect lady.
Crazy.
So, like, all this stuff he's got to deal with. He's got to deal with this. Yeah. And he even says in the last episode, he's like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could be a son, a brother, a boyfriend, and a superhero.
No, you can't.
I don't even know what I am anymore. I don't even know how to go on. And I think that's what makes a hero great. That's what makes a character great, when they have all this stuff going on, and he has the ultimate power to do whatever he wants, but he's got all these different things tugging at him. He's got Cecil. Yeah. He felt this betrayal. You got Cecil's backstory in there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. Yeah. That comes in there. And you're like, oh, that's satisfying. I wonder how he got that fucking scar on his face.
Yeah, you find out how his face got fucked up. Great.
So there is a lot of investment, and then you kind of reap the benefits of that investment in this show. So is it the best thing I've ever seen? No, but I think that is very commendable. I think it is very, very well done. And I really feel like it feels the most like reading a good comic, good independent comic that's written by one person,
one vision.
And it's the best translation of like what it feels like to read a comic book.
Well, Kirkman also involved in the show, which also helps, right? You know,
Yes.
He kind of did it with Walking Dead, but that kind of got away from him. He had to leave. This is still his singular vision. And yeah, man, the show still rocks. It's still got the edge. The writing is fantastic. The voice performances are fantastic. The drama, the twists.
I do have a criticism.
Okay.
I feel like I would like to have quality over quantity of Invincible screaming at the top of his lungs while making fucking splattered everybody into blood. Like it's excessively done and it's not like quality.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're just going through the motions.
You mean when he like loses it and just fucking slaughters people?
Like
is fantastic.
It's done a lot,
Okay,
so
wait.
it loses its impact.
Let's go
but
through some of like the big things that happen in the episode. In the first one, we learn that he is super strong now and super fast, and they're pushing him, and he's exceeding everything they have. And then these two dudes are stealing the Declaration of Independence. They might be from the future. I don't know. This is very strange. But this all leads to Duplicate's brother, Multi-Paul, showing up and beating the shit out of Rex. I love Rex in these 3 episodes. He's a great character.
Yeah, I like Rex's evolution. He's not just this.
He's not just a dick.
He's not always just a dick anymore. Go ahead.
But we of course know Duplicate stashed a copy of herself, and she has to show up to stop her brother from killing Rex. And so that's a big reveal. Duplicate's back out of retirement. That one shrinking Ray girl also returns to the Guardians. And then that wonderful moment, the conversation about that Mark learned about Adam, where he talks to Rex about what should I do with Adam Eve.
Wait, you stopped at the part where what's his name? Invincible is it Paul? What's his name?
Multi-Paul. Duplicate.
He immediately sends him to jail.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, great, you saw Duplicate, you're going to jail. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you kill people, and he just
so you're already getting a taste of like his moral code and the way he works.
Yeah.
And while he thinks it's like a very righteous thing, there's things that he's doing where it's like, wait, why are you the sole judge of all this type of stuff?
Sure, it's not black and white, and he shouldn't be able to it's just the no killing, but that he's got to play in the gray areas. I did love, he makes the mistake. He learned from the future Adam Eve that she was in love with him. Tell her something. And Rex even tells her, leave that part out. And fucking stupid ass Mark, this is a thing a dumb guy, a mistake would make. Everything's going good, and he tells her, and they're going to be a thing, and then he lets that slip, and she's like, wait a minute. Are you asking me out just because you think I've been waiting? Like, that's bullshit. I was like, you fucking idiot. That's great.
That's a classic guy talking to a girl for the first time, not really knowing what to do, and they get themselves in a situation, and then they talk themselves out of it.
Yes. And then he fucks
They
it
get
up.
themselves something good, and then they fuck it up by just sharing way too much information.
Savage. I was like, no, shut up. Stop talking. What are you doing? And he fucking does it. And then he got a little Doc Seismic and kidnaps all the superheroes, puts them in little bubbles underground, and Adam, Eve, and Mark are the only ones left. But then Cecil has to send in Darkwing 2 and those Reanimen that Mark is not a fan of, I guess.
No, he's not.
And they save them, and Cecil traps them in the White Room, and then you get that little post-credit with Alan and Nolan.
What I liked about this episode, what I liked first is that end where the Cecil's like, you're scaring the shit out of me.
Yes.
And I like Cecil's perspective where and you'll get it more in the next episode, but the fact that from his point of view, this is the strongest guy in the world.
Yeah, he needs
he's getting angry. Well, not only that, but this guy's getting angry at him.
Yes.
He doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yes.
So I think that's great. I also think my one criticism of this episode is they spent so much time showing us how much stronger Mark is.
Yeah. Did we need all
but
that?
It didn't feel like in that when he's fighting Dr. Seismic that he's that much stronger.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Or faster or anything.
Yeah, true. And then he's immediately eclipsed by his brother.
Right.
Yeah. I love Rex walking in when he's bench pressing, and he's like, way to make a superhero feel inadequate over here. He's just bench pressing, I don't know how many million tons. Speaking of Cecil, the second episode, fantastic. You get
I love this episode.
flashbacks with Cecil, how he became the director, how his face got fucked up, and
how much parallel he was in the idealistic view that he had of the world that Mark had.
He started like Mark, didn't he? But to your point, Anthony, when you have a Superman and you don't know, you can't control him, you're going to want to have a contingency plan for said Superman because you don't know. But you see how Cecil has developed his code and will make the hard choices to protect the planet. You see the first time he meets Nolan, which was kind of great. Instead of sending in the Immortal, he's like, I'm just going to go talk to him. And that's how, but he's like, I don't trust him. Let's get some contingencies in place.
But his worldview at the time was, I don't care if I don't trust him, if he saves people, I can use him.
Yeah, you saw him. He's the strongest thing we got. And so everybody's using everybody else. And then in the present time, we get that amazing scene where Mark loses his shit and just fucking slaughters these fucking things, pops to the head, he's slicing them in half, lengthwise, crosswise with his hands. That was fucking fantastic. Cecil pulls an Amanda Waller. He's got a device in Mark's head that will incapacitate him and take him down. And he does this in front of the team. And this whole sequence was fantastic because he's telling the rest of the team, stand down. It's none of your fucking business. This Mark is writhing in pain. And I love Rex just goes, fuck it. Jumps in. And they start fighting. And the robot blocks the frequency, which is when he gets unleashes. What do you think of this whole sequence? And this is when the group falls apart. Second episode, sides have been drawn, and the Guardians split up.
Yeah, I thought I said it right off the bat. I thought this was an awesome episode. By the way, you're missing the stuff where Oliver is gaining powers and wanting to become his sidekick already.
Yes.
But I thought this was a fucking awesome episode. I love that quote at the end where it's, you can be the good guy or the guy that saves the world. You can't be both. Or Cecil.
What a great line.
And this is the essence of comics, right? Is this moral dilemma. And then he's stuck with the team sees this and they're seeing what kind of monster Cecil is, where he's put this tracking device in his, or this thing in his head. But then also you can see Cecil's worldview and why he would do that.
Yep.
And I just love that dilemma. And I love how it breaks apart the team, and the younger people go with, they leave.
Yep.
The older Guardians stay, and Immortal's like, this is an honor to be here. Like, I love, what's good about it is you can see everyone's point of view and how it makes sense to them.
Yeah.
And I can even, while I love Mark in Invincible, he's getting all pissed off because Cecil's working with Darkwing and the Animen, right?
Yep.
Because they've killed people, right?
Yes.
But Mark has killed people.
Yes.
But so Mark doesn't afford the same amount of grace that he affords himself, because in Mark's view, he can justify that because he feels bad about it. Whereas he doesn't think his worldview is now, his morals are now running everything unfairly, where he's now forgiving himself for things that he's not forgiving others for.
Yeah, and where does a second chance or rehabilitation come into this in his
Why does
worldview?
Why does he
get a second chance?
Right, exactly.
Darkwing is like, look, give me a second chance. I fucked up, but I'm here now. Ruggs, what'd you think of this whole breakup and this whole crazy scene?
I thought it was cool. I figured, once you kind of see, I forgot the name of the dude now, the guy with the scar on his face.
Cecil.
Oh, Cecil.
Cecil. Once you kind of see that Cecil's, he's basically going to do anything he can to do his job, which is protect the world. And it becomes, has nothing to do with good and evil. It's moral ambivalence, basically. It's just means to an end.
Right.
And right now, Invincible seems to have this kind of moral higher ground, but when his brother in the next episode commits murder, he's got a conundrum now. He's got this kid, he's a little kid, he makes mistakes. Do you forgive the kid, or do you hold him to the same standard as everybody else? And so, he's got good superhero, good comic book dilemmas.
It's just like it's like classic Spider-Man, right? Which is so great.
Or the Illuminati run we read from Ron with Hickman and
the hard choices.
Exactly, where the choices on the surface seem very easy.
Yeah.
But they're impossible to make, right? Like, it's like, even any sort of leadership position where you're like you're in charge of this group of people.
Yeah.
You just kill one to save 1,000, right? Like it's you got to do these things sometimes. And the thing about Invincible, Mark, and the way his characters develop is he so much doesn't want to be his dad that he has no capacity to see anyone else's point of view on these things.
Yeah.
So anything that even triggers that this guy is like his dad, he's automatically like, fuck you, it's wrong. But he's just not mature enough to understand Cecil's worldview.
Or experienced enough, right?
Right.
To see the bigger picture.
It's just crazy because they do acknowledge all this stuff. Like the fact that he's immortal, he's going to live forever.
Yeah. Right.
And everybody's just going to pass through his life like they're seconds in time.
I mean, yeah.
And so like all these things will start to shape the way you view the world and what's important and what's not. Right now, he's still in his first lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
He will change. He will keep changing.
He said, when Nolan was beating him down, he goes, "What are you going to do in 500 years when everybody you know is gone?" Right? That's a good question. I love when he just grabs Cecil and he's like, "I will never work for you again. You come near my family, I'll fucking kill you." And then I thought it was interesting. Robot, when the guy asked him, "Why did you take his side?" He's like, "I'm going to need Invincible in the future." Also, he wanted to be with the girl who's got a crush on. But
I also like the Guardians when they leave, when they see this evil that Cecil, like the untrustworthiness, right? Because Cecil puts that thing in his head and he's fucking frying his brain in front of everyone, and they think that's horrific.
Yeah.
But then they also cut to when Mark is tearing everyone apart and grabs Cecil by the throat, and they're looking at him horrified too. It's not like either side. They're like, "Whoa, we're 100% in." They're like, "Holy shit, this motherfucker is the strongest guy in the world," and
he's
what will we do if he loses it?
Yeah, and they just had Omni-Man turn on them and destroy like the whole entire team.
And they don't need that to happen again. I love the shape-shifting guy. He's hilarious.
He's great.
Where they all walk in and then he goes, "And now I say something."
That's in episode 3.
That's in 3. And then when they're choosing sides, he's like, "Well, Cecil, let me come back after he killed me, so I'm just going to stay here."
He's funny. He has a lot of good one-liners.
Good. And the other guy mopping the floor is like, "Well, I can't do anything from the outside. I'm going to try to stay with the immortal," and Kate stays, and
and that scene is supposed to make you call back to, because it's in that room where Omni-Man in the first ever episode tears apart every
we killed the Guardians. Yeah.
So now you're seeing this. They're cleaning up the blood again, and this is what Mark did to all these characters, the Animen.
Yeah,
so.
slaughtered the Animen. So Monster Girl, Rex, Shrinking Ray, Bulletproof, and Robot break off, and they got to find their own place. That brings us to episode 3. A lot of fun stuff in this episode. Another fantastic, opening. No dialogue, just music.
I thought my TV wasn't working.
I know. I was like, is this the wrong audio track? What the fuck's happening? But you just see the story of these two guys who have villains, and one has what lava powers. The other one controls a fucking ribbon or cloth. But they start as villains, and they kind of get caught, and then they try to lead a legit life, get a job in a diner, and then their rent goes up, and then they can't get any more work. Then they get an eviction notice. Then they're on the street. You're seeing the orchid that was inside. It's on the street with them, and the whole time they're like, maybe we just robbed this bank again, and they do. And then
even when they initially rob the bank, they do their best to not hurt anyone.
Yes, he's looking at the kids and the moms, and they're not bad people. And you get all of this without any dialogue. I was like, this is cinema, bro.
Right.
This is very good. And then that cuts into this whole thing with Oliver.
Well, no,
Mark.
You're skipping the part where they go to rob the bank.
Yeah.
And Mark, Invincible, comes in, easily stops them.
Right.
Puts them in jail, and you're getting this dichotomy of the fact that because Mark is a superhero and he has this view, there's no nuance to what he's doing, but the people he's putting in jail,
they weren't necessarily bad
people. Yeah, they weren't bad. They're just victims of the circumstance of the fact that they were superheroes or they have these powers, and they're in a world that doesn't really understand them, and they don't have really a place in the world.
Just down on their luck, and one paycheck away from
But
being
there's no room
homeless.
for that kind of nuance with Mark.
It's, it's the opposite of what happened in that Spider-Man episode with the burglary at the pizza, where he's like, yeah, she's down on her luck, can you let her pass? But Mark doesn't. He just sees you're a criminal, you're going to
That's it.
jail. And the cycle of it.
Well, it's a different kind of crime, too.
Sure,
Like they're
yeah.
robbing a bank.
Yeah. They would have been scot-free. They just, it was bad timing. So I love this whole conversation with Oliver and getting the new suit and his powers, because both sides, Oliver and him, they both have good points. Mark's trying to tell him, I was 17 when I got my powers. I had a chance to grow up. It's going to take time. And they just want the kid to be normal and have a childhood. At the same time, though, this kid does not grow at a normal pace. The bugs age faster, so he's half bug. So I don't know, he'll be like 20 by the time the show ends, probably the next few episodes. He doesn't have time to have a childhood, and he needs to be trained, and he's into it.
I disagree. I don't think he has a good point. I think it's just the fact that his powers are growing faster than his maturity.
Yeah.
So he's in a weird spot where he's super powerful, but doesn't have any life experience or any maturity to even handle that. So I think it's more just the fact that, I think what they're getting at is not necessarily has a great, his view is right. It's more, you can understand why he is the way he is because he's just a child.
He's a child and he doesn't understand.
And there's no when you're a child, you don't really, understand the nuance of the ramifications of killing people and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, he doesn't understand why it's bad to call himself Kid Omni-Man. I love that moment where he's like, you got to understand, not everybody reacts to that the same way here. And he's like, but it's our dad. This is great.
Right.
But we also have the thing with Eve moving back in with her parents, promises not to use her powers. And then she is going to architecture school. This is also makes so much sense. This girl who can make shit is like, maybe I should learn how to actually build things properly so I can make it. And she runs into Mark's ex-girlfriend there. She's also in the school. The new suit is kind of cool. What else happened in this episode?
So the big thing in this is the Maulers are breaking into some sort of facility to drop a bomb and fuck shit up for the world.
Right.
And Mark has been telling Oliver not to join him on missions, but Oliver's stubborn and keeps joining him on missions. And Oliver is like, hey, I see on the news that Mark's going to need help. I'm going to go over there. Mark gets basically occupied by stopping the nuke.
The missile, right.
So Oliver goes in and we realize, holy shit, Oliver's really powerful because he fucking breaks the jaw of one of the Maulers, kills another one, and then when the other Mauler is surrendering, he kills him. He kills him in cold blood.
He fucking flies through one dude and then pops the other dude's head off. And I love how he is just covered in blood for the rest of the episode, all the way down to his shins, just red. And Mark gets back and he's like, oh shit. He told him to go home. You cannot control this kid. This kid's gonna be a problem.
Well, the kid initially lies too.
Yeah.
And and says he felt that, but what's his name? The Immortal reveals to Mark that he did it in cold blood.
Yeah.
But then I think at the end, Oliver seems to be a problem, but I do think that Debbie kind of gets to him and puts it into perspective of he just didn't understand the value of life.
Right.
And Debbie kind of makes him at least maybe understand it in that moment that what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
And in that moment, then you realize there's drones that's been following all these 3 episodes, and those drones, it sounds like belong to Angstrom Levy or a version of him.
So you see the drone, it explodes, and then you see a shot of these screens and a hand in a chair, and it sounds like Angstrom Levy. And we know there was different versions of him from the different universes. So, but I thought he sucked all those into his.
Yeah, I thought they all got annihilated.
Yeah, so there's another Angstrom Levy out there watching. Ruggs, what'd you think about this whole episode with Kid Omni-Man?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I really enjoyed I didn't really think we needed the beginning part, but
I love that. I kind of love that silent movie thing.
I was just like, I get it. Let's go. I feel like when things just linger too long, when I got it already, I'm like, okay, now this is wasting my time, and I feel like we should move on. Let's move. I think I skipped through that part. I was like, okay, I get it. They're down on their luck and they can't make it. And then I went back. I played the rest of the episode when the brother was involved and all the other politicking was going on about the new team and where they're going to be set up and all that other stuff. The team. Remember that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got
so and then the whole thing with the brother turning out to be really powerful and willing to not listen to his older brother and just be like, fuck, I'm just doing whatever I want. And he's going to be a problem.
He's going to be a problem. I love how the mom's like, what did I tell you about flying inside?
So yeah, I mean, I just said it at the beginning of this thing.
It's so good.
It is. It's. I love going on the journey and seeing the characters unfold and all these situations kind of come together and it's very satisfying.
And then Mark and Eve actually do kind of have another talk on top of the bridge and decide to have a go at it. And I love this because it makes the most sense for him to date.
It's just so awkward.
Adam Eve. It's very awkward.
It's not. Yeah,
but
they're teenagers.
They're teenagers, and it's like he can't have a normal girlfriend and put her in danger. It makes sense. I always thought that would be a better pairing anyway. So they're gonna have a go at it. He's all fucked up from his fight.
I also really like the show. It almost makes me want to buy the comics, but then I don't want to spoil the comic for myself.
Me too.
But it's clear, very based on really well written material. The one thing I noticed, and I'm not an animation expert at all, but I threw in a Invincible season 3. Just wanted to see what people were saying online, and everyone seems to like it. But one of the things they brought up, which I want to ask of you both, since you guys both have familiarity in some ways with drawing Imran with his hands, Rug Boy with his penis, is the online discourse about this animation. Is this show's animation is either average or below average? And the budget for these seasons apparently has gone down every year.
Yeah.
I'd love to get your perspective on this animation. Now, for me, I don't notice it, but then when people point shit out, I'm like, oh, it does look a little shitty. What do you guys think of the animation style?
I didn't notice anything glaring drop in quality. I think it's suitable for what it is and what it needs to do. But I didn't see them recycling a lot of things. It still feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. The flats are nice. The shading is nice. Ruggs, did you notice any drop in quality? I didn't really see much.
Well, when they kind of like do things so like they don't have to animate them like dialogue done when they're off camera or they'll do that to kind of just not have to animate the mouth. That usually takes the longest, right? Like getting the words to sync up. That's all costs money, right? So anytime where you're trying to sync something up to sound and have the mouth move or have like long periods of animation. So a lot of this stuff is pretty average. It's not like where they're doing 24 or 15 to 24 frames a second animated full fluid animation. They're not doing that. But neither is a lot of things doing that.
I did. Anthony, I noticed there's a whole Reddit thread, a lot of people saying
there's a lot of online discourse.
Episode 3 quality and consistency all over the place. Look,
when people compare it to, I mean, when you look at like Japanese anime, or you look at even some of the stuff that's released in the US, like the X-Men stuff and all that, X-Men 97. Like when you compare it to that, it does seem like there's a clear drop. I think from what I've seen in my perspective, it seems like it's serviceable. I don't think it like takes away anything.
Yeah.
But for those that are big animation nerds and geeks, and animation is hard, right? From what I've understood, they work those guys to the death, especially people in Japan.
Yeah.
The show isn't necessarily doing anything to wow you on that front.
Well, look, like budgetary constraints is a thing, right? And
but why would it go down? I don't understand that.
AI is going to take care of all of this, my friend.
Also, nobody is doing, for them to do like a 40, 50-minute episode, that's a lot of animation. They may be saving some of it for later in the season for bigger events. But do you want a new season every year, or do you want it to look good? There's got to be a balance. So I feel like some of it may be rushed, but some of it there may be saving for the special.
I feel like it still manages to be average. I think
it's average or above. It's absolutely serviceable. Like I said, it gets the job done. It doesn't detract.
Is it the apex of animation? No. Is it like Is it like what's going on with
Arcane or those other things? No.
Yeah.
And those are half an hour episodes though, right? Were those hour?
Well, I think also the discourse online is like the comics are so well drawn and written, that it's not while it's living up to the writing. Although I think moving a little faster, it's not living up to the how dynamic the drawing was.
But if they take their time, then people are going to complain. It took 5 years for a season to fucking come out, right? So they got to cut some corners somewhere, maybe. But it doesn't, for me, it doesn't take anything away. Like I barely noticed. I still think it's mostly consistent, but I can see what people are saying. So this is all over the place, but I feel like they'll, and they even addressed it last season in that one episode where he goes to the convention, how they reuse stuff. So, and that's because they took a long time making these seasons, but this came out fairly quickly. See how long it takes. I'm in. We will discuss and then review it when it ends.
I'm super in as well.
March.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's still fucking fantastic writing and performance. All right, let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
I just got one comment about Invincible from Jason Dutch. He says, between this, Creature Commandos, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, wow, what a year for animation so far. Isn't that great, Rugs? 3 great animated things.
Great? Yeah, there are 3 animated shows.
There's also Harley Quinn, season 5. There's a couple of other things out.
There's lots of stuff.
There's lots of stuff. All right, this comment was interesting. I think Ruggs, you have some opinions about this. Lisa Morrison posting this article. In the article, Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel series with Sarah Michelle Gellar returning nears Hulu pilot order.
Oh, shit.
She says, huge Buffy fan here, but not sure how I feel about this. I want it, but I kind of feel like it's best to leave it alone. Thoughts? Chloe Zhao is doing a new Buffy the Vampire Slayer series with Sarah Michelle Gellar involved. Before I get your thoughts, Rug, a couple other comments. David Zika says, I have no problem with this as long as it's good. Kelsey Carter says, I have faith, no pun intended. Daryl K says, I always thought it'd be interesting for Gellar to play Joyce in a full reboot of Buffy's story. And Chris Marin says, as much as I'm enjoying the new Dexter prequel, Sarah Michelle Gellar seems to be the weakest link in it. She's in that, I guess. I'm a big Buffy fan, Ruggs. I know you love Buffy.
Right.
Does this, would you be into this coming back with the Chloe Zhao?
If it was in 2025, I would say yes.
Okay.
But because it's 2025 and everything sucks and people fucking got their heads up their ass and they don't understand what entertainment is anymore, that you're going to make the lamest version of Buffy. It's going to be, I don't know. I feel like the whole fun of the reason why Buffy the Vampire, the words Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the whole idea is that you have this cheerleader bimbo Buffy, and she's saddled. So she's this girl that's into her appearance, into being popular, and she's now got to fucking fuck up her whole life.
She's
kill vampires.
She's a slayer.
Yeah, she's a fucking slayer. It's now put upon her that she's got to fucking care about people other than herself.
So you can't do that now? Is that what you're saying?
And no, because now you're gonna make it's nice. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're not gonna make it about some. They're gonna make it like a girl boss that is. I don't. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be. She's gonna be. She's not gonna be Buffy. She's gonna be like the new Giles.
Well, I think you're right. I think she will be Buffy, but she'll be a mentor training the new Slayer, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a reboot or revival or a sequel or if it's continuing.
Look, the idea of Buffy the Slayer is something that will go on forever.
Right.
Like, the idea of a Slayer, once one dies, another one replaces them.
Right.
And
like Highlander.
They just always another Slayer.
They always need a Slayer.
Yeah. So another Slayer will come into the fold and stop evil. But So that's a slam dunk to make like there should have been another Slayer, but I feel like it's not going to be Buffy the Vampire. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was great because of those things. Joss Whedon, he's sitting there. He had a funny idea. What if like the most stuck up bitch at your high school had to fucking kill vampires? And that was what was fun about that. They're not going to do that because that's kind of like a 90s type thing to do, right?
Yeah.
It's not a 2025. It won't work.
Well, also,
it's going to come off. It's going to come off like it's not going to come off.
This kind of genre television was also new at the time. Like he kind of built this blueprint of like, Monster of the Week, but then this overarching thing that continues in seasons in this kind of genre sci-fi fun show. But do you want David Boreanaz back and Charisma Carpenter and Eliza Dushku?
I want them all back.
Bring them all back.
If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do it, just do it.
Buffy has a lot of fans. This is gonna be very interesting to see.
Like I wish like the early 2010s we got this, but not.
You can't have Joss Whedon work on it now because, well,
yeah, but when Joss was still around before the Me Too movement and all that stuff. I don't know. What did he do again? What did he do?
Toxic. He was accused.
He yelled at Charisma Carpenter.
Yes, of creating a toxic work environment on both Buffy and Angel. And Carpenter spoke out against Whedon, and also Amber Benson, Michelle Trachtenberg backing her up. Anthony, anything on Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Did you ever watch any of those?
I never watched any Buffy.
It's a good show.
Cool.
But,
I can't see Anthony ever watching that.
Probably not. No, that's probably never going to happen.
But it was great.
Chloe Zhao, though, that's an interesting pick for this.
She can make it. She made a shitty Eternals.
I know, and now she's gonna get Buffy.
She doesn't understand this. This is not her wheelhouse. I'm sorry to say it, but she's not.
Probably not. The original movie.
She's definitely a artsy slice of life type film director, and these aren't that.
Like Joss Whedon was a horny nerd that wanted to be in charge of hot girls.
That's what the show was.
And that's what Buffy you had Charisma Carpenter.
Eliza Dushku, come on.
Eliza Dushku were both smoke shows. Yeah. And then, he got saddled with Sarah Michelle Gellar, which she's not, she's not terrible, but like
she's not chopped liver.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not chopped liver. But she was clearly like, a hot girl too. But so that's what Joss Whedon was doing.
Yeah.
He was
back when you could do that.
And Anya, also another hot girl. Like they're not doing that now.
These showrunners
they're all gonna look like April O'Neil from that new Ninja Turtles.
Showrunners Nora Zuckerman, Lila Zuckerman, who also did Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne.
Poker Face.
That's a great show. They also have worked on Fringe, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Suits.
Fringe is a great show.
Fringe is a good show. Let me ask you, Eternals, is that a bad movie or just a misunderstood movie? I kind of want to watch it again.
I have not revisited it since.
Right? Me
I have
neither.
no.
I have maybe it wasn't bad. It just was not.
It was bad.
It was different.
It
was not right.
It was so bad. Not that it was bad. It was just so mundane and mediocre. It was the mediocrity was everywhere in that movie. Everything was mediocre.
Give us Kingo, God damn it! That's what it did. Points for Kingo. Anyways, all right. Let's do some. What are we watching? Anthony, did you watch anything? You were in Austin.
I was in Austin. No, I haven't even watched the Spider-Man stuff that I know I have to catch up on.
You barely watched the Super Bowl, you motherfucker.
That's right.
Speaking of the Spider-Man stuff, Ruggs, you posted up some Patreon things.
Yes.
So last week, you already talked about Babylon. You did a nice review for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wild Robot.
I was catching up on all the shit that I didn't do.
There is a review for that on the Patreon. And then there is a 10-minute rant on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes 3 through 5. Ruggs, what do you think of these episodes? What happened?
The thing that's the most egregious is that they're not doing the Tom Holland thing, but they are doing the Tom Holland thing, but they're doing it worse. And, this basically goes through Spider-Man getting all these costumes from Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Which immediately sucks donkey
Yeah, none
dick.
of them work.
And yeah, just a waste of time. It doesn't do anything for the character. It's just stupid. And I just hate that Peter Parker has no agency. He's literally
he's got
he's not the character that
So
that
Norman
I know.
Osborn is the guy in the chair, then Harry Osborn finds out, guy in the chair. That was also kind of weak the way he found out. A couple other things happened. It's okay. It show's all right.
I made this point on my rant, and I'm just gonna make it again. It's kind of like the mic drop thing I could say is that when Amazing Spider-Man came out, all of the Spider-Man nerds came out pissed off that they included Spider-Man's parents in the making of Spider-Man. That they were scientists, and the spider that bit Peter Parker was like ordained by his father to give him he had a secret lab in these coins. All right. Everything in this show is worse than that. And people are liking it.
I mean, that's a solid point.
All right. If you guys are going to shit on the Amazing Spider-Man movies and you're going to hold these things up to like God tier, like a lot of people are like this, like 0 bad reviews. I'm sorry, but
look,
there's something fucked up afoot at the Circle K.
I will even admit that it's veering off of Spider-Man. Like, is it Spider-Man? Look, the Lonnie Lincoln storyline with the gang and, trying to save his brother and he takes his place. That shit's great. That I thought.
Yeah, he's more Peter Parker.
He is.
Than Peter Parker.
That storyline is almost better than Peter tries these different suits. He's scaring kids. Then you got, they show you Doc Ock, and I love the way he's drawn and kind of different versions of Rhino and the Unicorn or whatever they are, and Tarantula and Speed Demon. Otto is selling, that logo was Otto Octavius, and he's selling all these weapons to criminals. He does name drop Tony Stark, Bruce Banner. Yeah, I don't know. It's all right.
No, it's dog shit.
Right. Matt Gargan is the leader of the other gang that Lonnie's fighting.
I like that Gargan's in here.
Yeah.
That's another underutilized villain, the Scorpion.
Yeah, he's a gang member.
Like, they never used him in any Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. I also wonder what they're limited to, because I thought like the contract was if Sony uses some villains, like Marvel can't use these villains for a number of years or something. So I don't know if it's crosses over to animation or that's just live action. I'm not sure.
Whatever it is, it's fucking sucks.
Oh, and then
whatever the situation that's engineering this, like that Sony's fucking Marvel over, Marvel's fucking Sony over. It's not making anything good. So you guys blew it. The whole idea was, well, we can't make the Tom Holland thing because we're creatively fucking
right.
You should have done it because this isn't any better. Like, I don't know what you wanted to free yourself up to do what. Like, I don't understand. So,
and then Lonnie gets the name Tombstone at the very end of the episode.
Yeah, he just gets the name.
He's like, I'm gonna call you Tombstone.
It's stupid.
Call him
It's
Concrete. We'll call you Tombstone. And there's a helmet with the power laser and some other shit. It's all right.
There's a helmet with a laser. That's the Rhino laser.
Yeah, but like she's the unicorn. The other guy's the Rhino in name, and then the other guy's supposed to be Kraven. Mikhail Sistovich, the Rhino, is actually named. So
that's Kraven over there?
Dmitry, the other one. Dmitry Smerdyakov, Mikhail Sistovich.
Oh, that's Kraven?
and
He's
Rhino.
Skinny Kraven?
Maybe. I don't know.
Skinny Kraven.
Otto doesn't have his arms, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens and how many more costumes.
Fuck this show.
They give him the white costume, like the Future Foundation costume when he was drawn. Whatever. Okay. We got 5 more episodes left. Hey, anything else you watch, Rugs, you want to mention? You started any TV shows?
I did.
What?
If I tell you what this is, you're not even gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's called Gladiators. It's an Italian cartoon.
What?
About gladiators.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what I watched it. I think it might have been Tubi.
How old is this?
I don't know. It's probably pretty old. But like I started watching
26 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm watching it.
Okay.
It's the theme song is in Italian.
It's all in Italian. Oh, it's only from 2007. Oh.
Yeah. And all of the music is in Italian, but it's in the English language. They have the English dub.
Lovely.
And it's about fucking gladiators. It's about give you a quick pitch. There's an evil fucking emperor, just like in Gladiator.
Uh-huh.
And the kid who's next in line is like a young kid, and this fucking evil guy is trying to take over the emperorship from under him. He's poisoning the old guy, trying to get him out of the picture. He's trying to fuck with the new and there's a bunch of these gladiator or this team of people that are trying to help him fucking get this guy off his back.
All right. It's good.
I don't know if it's good, but I watched and I probably will watch more of it. So
I watched a couple of things. On Netflix, that movie Here came out. You guys remember this at all? Probably not. Came out last.
Is that the one with Tom Spanks?
Tom Spanks, Robin Wright, Robert Zemeckis directing. Essentially, Zemeckis is like, can I make a movie without moving the camera at all? And that's what this is. It's one stationary camera in this one location where there's a house, and the majority of the movie, you're in this living room in this house. But they have these, he throws up these panels to show this room in different times throughout history. So it even goes back to show you it in prehistoric time, this area, what happens, Native American time, the colonial era.
Was it good?
It's okay. It's largely ends up being gimmicky. Here's why. There's Tom Hanks and Robin Wright are de-aged. His father bought this house after the war. They kind of grow up here. He has kids here. There's no real plot in the movie. It's just you see this family grow up, go through things, go through life things, and then it cuts in between constantly with other people who lived in this room. Like the guy who invented the lazy boy chair lived in this house in the 40s. This one guy who was into planes early on in the 1910s lived in this house. So you see how many people died in this room, how many people were born in this room. Sometimes it cuts back to the Native American time where there's no house and there's a birth and a death. It's an interesting, ambitious idea. Can you make a movie without moving the camera at all? You kind of can, but there's no story. It's just shit happens. So they grow old. They have kids. The wife has dementia. She comes back. They try to remember. That's essentially it. So I was like,
what about?
Go ahead.
So what about Back in Action?
Oh, when we get to Back in Action, it's essentially like an ambitious gimmick that it didn't play well in theaters. It's only an hour 44, so it's not too long. But as an experiment, it was fine. I don't know how successful. Then I checked out Back in Action, starring Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz, like his first movie in 10 years. Cameron Diaz, first movie in a long time. And these two play a married couple who used to be CIA and have a family, and now they have to become agents again for some stupid reason. It's essentially your Netflix comedy action kind of thing. It's slightly better than a normal one. Like some of the lines Jamie Foxx had were kind of funny, but there's also de-aging in this, and you have to believe these two 50-year-old people are CIA agents, which is very contrived. There's a lot of eye rolling and a huge suspension of disbelief, but it was a cute harmless movie to throw on.
Okay,
nothing special.
Yeah,
a little bit funnier than your normal because of Jamie Foxx.
And what's this Paradise?
Then I started watching this show Paradise on Hulu. I saw a lot of people talking about this.
Jesus Christ, Imran.
I saw a lot of people talking about this. It's Sterling K. Brown as a Secret Service agent. I'm going to say this. No spoilers yet. Spoiler free. Give this show a watch if you like political thrillers that have a slight science sci-fi twist. Okay. It's a political thriller. Now,
spoiler alert.
Some more spoilers. Here's what the show is really about. First episode. I'll just set it up. Sterling K. Brown is a Secret Service agent. The president is played by James Marsden, of all people. And in the first episode, the president is killed in his apartment, in his room overnight. Inside job. President's dead. It's a murder mystery. He's got to find out what the fuck happened. Nobody came in or out. All right. Then you find out at the end of the first episode that this town that they're showing you, where you see the sky and the sun, all of this is a town that has been built underground in a giant cave, with kind of like the Truman Show, with a light on a track for the sun, because it was either climate change or nuclear apocalypse happened up top, and only 25,000 people were selected to live in this city underground. So there's a lot of these shows, like Silo is the same thing, Fallout, Under the Dome. It's a political murder mystery thriller about a post-apocalyptic city built underground.
So there's a lot of similar shows that are on the same premise?
Yeah, like Silo is similar. It's the future. Everybody lives underground in a silo. Fallout, similar. The up top has been destroyed. Everybody's got to live underground in these shelters. It's a little bit like Lost, because then they start to give you flashbacks of all the characters to catch you up on what happened up top, what these people have been through.
Oh my God.
So it's like this big convoluted murder mystery, underground city.
Okay. Well,
people have been talking about it. It's not bad. It's different but similar, but familiar. There's so many shows like that. And then my usual watch is Severance. Is a fucking weird show. It's really good. Highly recommend that. And
what's that about again?
Severance is about this job where you are severed as an employee, meaning when you walk into work in the elevator dings, and you don't remember anything that happens outside of work. You have an innie, a work self, and that person just knows what they do in the office. When the workday is over, they go into the elevator, you hear a ding, and you become your outie, which is the person outside of work hours, and you have no idea what you're doing at work, and when you're at work, you have no idea what you do when you leave work. It's a wild concept. Essentially, if you're like an innie, you get in the elevator, it dings. The next thing you know, the elevator is opening up again, and you feel rested, and you're back at work, and you just have to keep working. So there's a conspiracy about the people where they work and what they're actually doing.
It's on Apple.
It's on Apple TV.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
It's Ben Stiller's show. It's very weird, twisty. It's very David Lynchy. It reminds me, rest in peace, he passed away recently. It reminds me a little bit of Twin Peaks, because there's just weird shit that happens. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And it's the kind of show where I'm like, I'm not sure what's happening, but it's cool. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But it's one of those. But everybody's talking about it. Water cooler.
Just like the way you said, I don't know what it is.
And then, bro, that showed The Pit on Max, that medical drama. Holy shit. I've read articles of doctors watching the show. They're like, this is the most accurate, real ER show we've ever seen. It is. It's really good. It's graphic. And the shit they show you, most of the time I'm covering my face watching this show going, oh my God, why are you showing me this? But all the doctors go, this is the most accurate shit we've ever seen. It's really good. I like it. I'll continue to watch that and Harley Quinn and everything else that comes on a weekly basis. Next week, fellas, this is it. Captain America, Brave New World.
Geek Boner.
It's coming out. We'll have a full review. By the time you hear this,
Rug Boy.
Without Rug Boy, we'll have a special guest.
Lame. I refuse to watch any Marvel movies.
Fuck that show.
Oh boy, we're doing the boycott. I think Spider-Man ruined him. By the time you hear this, social media embargo should be lifted. The review embargo lifts February 12th. Social media embargo lifts on the 11th. The movie comes out on the 14th. I don't know if that's a good thing. It's very close to its release, 2 days. It's still tracking to open $90 million, guys, over the 3-day. Let's do quick over-under guess. Anthony.
I'm going to go under.
You're going to go under 90 million. Okay. Rugs.
200 million.
No, not opening weekend. That's
not
may make that in total. Do you think it opens 3 days over under 90 million?
90 million? I don't know. I feel like it's going to be like 70, but
I'm also going to go, I think it's going to come in just under. But we will find out if all the reshoots and all the shit they got going on, the Leader, the Red Hulk, Sabra, the Falcon, fucking Sidewinder, Serpent Society. There's a lot of shit in this movie. But I'm going to say slightly under, but Marvel needs some momentum. It's the first of 3. We'll see what happens. And also, Cobra Kai. Check that out. Thursday.
When's that?
Thursday, February 13th.
Oh, shit.
Final 5 episodes.
It's right around the corner.
We'll review that the following week. So we'll give you a week to catch up. And that's it. Rugs,
Okay.
where can the people find you online?
Rug Boy Show. Come and join my 30 other followers that are
Make it
following.
31, listener. Anthony, where are you this week? What city will you be in?
I will be in Chicago this week.
That's boring.
Yeah,
Boo.
I know.
Great city. In the meantime, listener, check out the episode description or our website, jockandnerd.com, for links to stuff we talked about, how to connect, how to support, how to follow. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
We'll peep you.
We'll peep you next time.
Nailed it.
We got to work on it. No, we did not.
No.
No.
This is going great.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
I like turtles.
Jock and Nerd.